Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this afternoon's update on Winter Storm Garnett. So, we're going to have yet another cross-country winter storm impacting the northern parts of the country, especially the Midwest and the Northeast, as we go through the next 3 days. And this storm is already bringing heavy snow to areas of California and Nevada this afternoon. As we go into the overnight and into tomorrow, snow will spread across the northern Rockies, then through the northern plains as we go into about 1 a.m. tomorrow morning, or Saturday morning rather, and then snow will move across Minnesota, Wisconsin, into portions of northern Illinois and Indiana as we go into a Saturday afternoon around 1 p.m. Central Time, with freezing rain across north central Illinois, Indiana, into portions of Virginia and the Delmarva and southern Pennsylvania. And then going into Saturday afternoon around 4 p.m. Central Time, looking at more icing across the northern half of Ohio through northern Virginia, the Delmarva, central Pennsylvania, seeing more sleet, more heavy snow across Michigan, especially into the Detroit area down through New Jersey. And then going into Saturday night, a lot of heavy freezing rain across much of Pennsylvania into New Jersey, a lot of heavy snow across New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island, heavy snow in New York City through Providence, Rhode Island, and Boston into about 10 p.m. Saturday evening. And this will go through Saturday night. Heavy snow continues across New England all the way through Sunday morning before the storm exits at around 9 to 10 a.m. Sunday morning off the New England coast. So what does this mean for snowfall accumulations? This is going to bring a lot more snow than the last storm to the Northeast in particular, looking at about 6 inches to a foot of snow across portions of the mountainous areas of the Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies in the purples, 2 to 6 inches in the blues, across areas of North and South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. Widespread areas of 2 to 6 inches of snow are expected with Winter Storm Garnett. But once we start going into the Northeast, a widespread swath of 7 to 10 inches of snow in the GFS model across New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, potentially in Boston, Providence, Connecticut, or Hartford, Connecticut, could be seeing up to 3 inches of snow in New York City with Winter Storm Garnett. So this is going to be a much larger snow producer than Winter Storm Freya across the Northeast. Make sure you are getting ready for Winter Storm Garnett across the Northeast especially. Looking at our European model solution, the European model is also showing 6 to 12 inches of snow in mountainous areas of the Pacific Northwest, Northern Rockies, about 3 to 4 inches of snow across southern North Dakota, northern South Dakota, Minnesota, about 3 to 5 inches of snow, including Minneapolis, Wisconsin, Michigan, about 2 to 6 inches of snowfall accumulation in the European model. And once again, across the Northeast, we're looking at about 6 inches to a foot of snow in some areas across the Northeast in the European model, looking at about 6 inches in New York City, about 9 inches in Hartford, Connecticut, 10 inches in Providence, Rhode Island, up to possibly 10 inches in Boston, Massachusetts in the European model solution. And then taking a look at our Canadian model solution, once again, the Northern Rockies and Pacific Northwest, a little bit more actually, could be seeing up to 2 feet of snow in some of the mountains of the Northwest and Northern Rockies in the Canadian solution. And then across the Dakotas, about 2 to 6 inches of snow. Minnesota, the same. Wisconsin and Michigan, 2 to 6 inches of snow as well across most of the states. 6 inches in Minneapolis, St. Paul. But looking across the Northeast in the Canadian model, even more significant totals across Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and New York. 1 to 2 feet of snow could be possible if the Canadian model verifies in some of these areas. New York City, about 3 inches. Hartford, about 8 inches. Providence, about 6 inches. Boston, up to a foot of snow. And looking at our ice accretion, we're going to be seeing a lot of ice in the same areas that we saw from Winter Storm Freya, looking at about a tenth to a quarter of an inch of ice in northern Indiana, north central northern Ohio. Once again, Pennsylvania is going to be the hot spot with about a quarter to a half an inch of ice accretion from Winter Storm Garnett, New Jersey, about a tenth to a third of an inch of ice accretion, and in the Delmarva in Washington, D.C., about a tenth to a quarter of an inch of ice accretion from Winter Storm Garnett. And closing off with our National Weather Service Watches, Warnings, and Advisories map, we have a lot of winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories across portions of California, Oregon, the Northern Rockies, and then we have winter storm watches in portions of the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, overlapped by wind advisories into Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, into New York and Connecticut. We do have winter storm watches under the wind advisories. So this is going to be a significant snowstorm, especially across the Northeast. Make sure you are preparing for Winter Storm Garnett. Thanks for watching this evening's update. Please stay safe and have a wonderful evening, my friends.